7:30 p.m. only on Zoom.
This is the Times Television Network, and you're watching ET Now.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time with me, Shaili Chopra. Tiger is like Tiger again, which is why this special episode brings you the big comeback of Tiger Woods, who won the Arnold Palmer Invitational. But what is the next victory going to be? Will there be another victory? Or was this just a flash in the pan? Is he back with the spirit and the touch that he has on the golf course? That's in focus on today's show. Let's begin by telling you what are our big headlines on Tea Time.
After his win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, he's back as the favourite again.
It's very difficult to keep a guy like Tiger down. He's probably the greatest player ever to be playing this game.
If we see Tiger and Rory regularly going head-to-head, it could bring immense excitement.
Tiger Woods breaks the slump, wins at Bay Hill for the first PGA Tour victory in 30 months. Fred Couples birdies the final hole to win at Fallen Oak. It is the Tiger Woods special, and that's why we've got voices from all across the world to give you a perspective on whether this is a real comeback and a comeback on a historic moment for Tiger Woods. Our special guests on the show include Colin Montgomerie of the Golf Research Group joining us from London. We've got Ben Fox, the American golfer. We needed an American voice, and who better than getting a golfer by himself? Ben Fox. Chirag Kumar, Indian pro himself, who is a huge Tiger Woods fan and believes that this is a comeback story for him. And Andy Mickelson, who gives us a perspective on whether Tiger is back, topping the charts with the bookies. Is he really making the bucks for people who want him to? But before we get down to the big discussion, here is this special story that looks at Tiger's victory this time and whether it holds the promise of letting him repeat this story again and again for himself. Tiger Woods ended his 2.5-year drought on the PGA Tour when he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational by 5 strokes, sending a warning signal to his rivals ahead of next month's Masters. The former world number 1 shot a final round 70 to finish at 13 under par at the Bay Hill course, where he has won 6 times before.
Well, it just feels good. I mean, as I said, it's just pure joy. You know, the tournament wasn't over until I hit the ball on the green. We've seen what's happened this year with leads. That's when it was nice to be able to celebrate, and after that, knowing that all to do is just stay upright, and the tournament was over.
Woods has already won 14 majors, but none since the 2008 US Open, and will be among the favourites to challenge at Augusta, along with the world's top 2, Luke Donald and Rory McIlroy.
You know, Jack's had just an amazing career, and he's won a bunch of tournaments, but also he's won more majors than anybody else either. So I'm looking forward to my opportunities this year. There's 4 of them this year, and hopefully I can peak at the right times for all 4 of them.
This is Woods' first victory since he reworked his swing by coach Sean Foley, and comes just 2 weeks after he limped out of a PGA event with knee trouble. But with this win in the bag, is the game plan for the upcoming Augusta Masters on track?
I understand how to play Augusta National, and it's just a matter of executing, you know, the game plan. I made a couple little subtle changes out there, but overall the golf course is still basically the same. So looking forward to it.
So let me begin the big discussion with our special guest here on the show. Chirag, I'm going to start with you. Closer home, expectations of Tiger's comeback, and then you see it all on that 18th green at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Chirag Kumar, do you think he's made a comeback?
Absolutely. I think he's been kind of showing signs of coming back for the last 2 or 3 months, and I think as a golfer I'm really happy that he's won. I stayed up at night and I saw the Bay Hill, and it was great to see him win again.
Especially when it comes early in the morning for Indians here while we're watching him. Colin Montgomerie, are you impressed?
Certainly, from watching him on Sunday, it looks like he is back.
What is Ben Fox feeling about that? Ben, does he look that Tiger is back in shape, the shape that he is so far known as for the rest of the world, being the man who knows his play and then he knows how to get the trophy?
Well, I think everyone knew that it was only a matter of time before he came back and won again. He's too talented to have not. I mean, obviously he had some personal stuff that he needed to get past, and it looks like his game is in very top-notch shape now. And you know, for the rest of golf, I mean, it's great for the game. It's great for all of us pros, you know.
Ben, folks, but you know, the fact is this victory comes very precariously timed. One, it's right ahead of the Masters. And then the whole expectation about whether Tiger will make it to what would be the next big tournaments. And, of course, then match what would be Jack Nicklaus's record.
You know, I think with Tiger winning, golf definitely got a big energized spark. You know, I think across the world, I think more people are interested in golf today than they were last week because he won. You know, I think that winning is hard on any level, whether it's the Asian Tour or the PGA Tour or the Masters. You know, it's hard to win. So, you know, the fact that he won that tournament, I think he's back in true form, and I think he'll be a top contender for the Masters.
Colin Haggerty, is this victory without Rory McIlroy, Luke Donald, or any of the top 5 in that listed Arnold Palmer Invitational? Is that something to get worried about? The top guys weren't quite competing with Tiger.
Well, I think winning a PGA tournament is a very, very big thing. I mean, there's a lot of great players never even win one. But obviously, that's a long way from being in the majors when every single one of the world's greatest players is there and they all want to win really badly. So it's going to be very, very interesting seeing the Masters in a couple of weeks.
Colin, what's getting Tiger in form? I mean, what's your take on his game, his swing, which is clearly an improved swing thanks to the new coach, Sean Foley, that he's adopted?
Look, the first thing I saw, he just physically looks in great shape. I mean, he looks like he's really been working out, and he looks fabulous. But the other thing is just the set of his shoulders and the set of his head. I mean, he looks confident, and he looks like a winner again.
He looks like a winner again. Chirag, that's certainly music to your ears, a big Tiger fan. But I do want to ask you, as I did to Colin, is this victory not as sweet largely because some of the big players on circuit today were absent from this invitational?
No, I think, you know, if Tiger had to win last week, he would have won no matter who was playing. You know, it wasn't like it was not a very good field. But yes, when you look at the best fields in golf nowadays, there is Luke Donald, there is Rory McIlroy. You know, considering those guys weren't playing, you could say that, you know, the field wasn't as strong as it would be in any other tournament like the Masters coming up next week. But I personally think Tiger's back, so, you know, it wouldn't have mattered if anybody else was playing.
You know, it's hard to keep Tiger down, Chirag, but from here on, do you anticipate that he has the might once again in his wrist to take the game from being just one win to multiple wins, something Tiger is known for? He gets onto the course and he comes back with the trophy.
You know, it's very difficult to keep a guy like Tiger down. He's probably the greatest player ever to be playing this game, and it was just about time that he came back, and I'm sure he's only going to get better from here.
Ben Fox, to bring you in, golf is considered always a psychological sport, and I think certainly since the time it became modern golf, the need to stay focused and calm, is that something that you think is coming back onto the table as a centerpiece?
Well, you know, I think golf has always been a psychological sport. I think it's always been a sport that requires work in many different angles, from the psychological side to the physical side, the technical side. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into golf in terms of players focusing. For me, I mean, I just think it's about bringing everything together. You know, I work on the psychological side. I work on all sides. You know, I think that if you think it's about one thing, you're kind of missing the point. It's about bringing everything together, and one big part of that is the psychological side. You know, being able to stay calm and focused and ready to compete.
That said, Ben, I mean, just look at the game where we stand today. Until Tiger Woods' victory and Luke Donald becoming #1, people have always been looked at the fact that somehow it's this side of the Atlantic that's beginning to do rather well, which is the European players are giving big competition to American ones. In that light, how do you read into the comeback of Tiger and just the game where it stands?
I think there's obviously a big surge coming from Europe, and yeah, I mean, you know, there are top players in who are on top of their game all over the world. And I think that as opposed to just looking at the Europeans, I think it's more about golf becoming a world sport. I think you're going to see a lot more players from Asia, from Europe, continued bunch from the U.S. I think it's just going to turn into a more of an international field at the highest level.
Colin, one reason why people look forward to Tiger's comeback is for television ratings. I mean, he's always been the man who can fire up the screen. You agree?
Tiger has always been fabulous for ratings, and I'm really looking forward to the Masters. If he's in contention on the Sunday, there's going to be enormous ratings there because people really want to see him come back.
Colin, to you now, 53% of sport executives polled by a website online said that they would watch golf if Tiger was playing. 10% would watch if Rory was playing. Why do you think this phenomenon is the way it is?
Well, firstly, I think a lot more than 10% are going to watch if Rory's leading in the Masters. But then again, Tiger's always been a really big draw. And after the long absence, almost 1,000 days from winning, if he's back winning in the Masters, I think there's going to be enormous numbers of people watching and tremendous interest.
But Colin, don't you think at 36, that's where Tiger is today, it could be a concern that he may not be the Tiger we once knew, the guy who knew how to deliver wins after wins with precision?
That's a really interesting question. A long, long time ago, someone told me that a golfer's peak performance is 28 to 32. And the interesting thing is with golf, like some other sports, it's a mixture of your experience is getting more all the time, but sadly, your body's sometimes not getting more, so it's the crossover experience and physical strength. But there's been enormous changes in all forms of sport, and especially golf, with forms of training and weight training and nutrition, which very considerably extends people's career. So years ago, 36 would have been viewed as old to be a top-level golfer, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tiger's got another 10 really strong years in him.
So you think 10 years, a decade, we can certainly bet on Tiger. Chirag Kumar, what's your view? Is he going to be fit enough to carry on winning?
I think he's one of the fittest guys that we see on the golf course. He's kind of changed the whole game in terms of where he's taken the level of fitness and everything like that. So he's fit enough to play. He's had a few injury problems, but I think he's okay with all of them now. And this is a game where there's no real time in terms of early 20s or late 30s or anything like that. I mean, he could his best golf may yet to be seen by all of us. So. I don't know. I'm really not in a position to comment about that, but I don't think his fitness is going to stop him down.
Fitness won't stop him down, where it didn't stop Ben Hogan way back in 1950 when he was in his late 30s to win after win. That's true for Gary Player, for Jack Nicklaus and many others. We'll be back discussing Tiger Woods and his comeback, whether or not it's the great comeback that's coming up ahead. Stay right there. Back in a moment. You're watching Tea Time with me, Shaili Chopra.
This show brought to you by Toyota Quality Revolution. HCL, technology that touches lives. Bajaj Allianz, SMS Live to 56070 or Jio Befikar.
Presenting India's biggest awards recognizing the performance of stock analysts and brokerage houses.
I believe you're going to see a resurgence of activity in the Indian market.
Which of the analysts and brokerages will win top honors at the awards? PC Jeweler presents ET Now Starmine Analyst Awards 2011-12. Only on ET Now.
Starmine Awards presented by PC Jeweler. Jeweler for generations. In association with Panasonic Econavi AC. It's one touch to change the future. Standard Chartered Bank, here for good.
नए सैमसंग गैलेक्सी Y एंड्रॉइड स्मार्टफोन्स अब डुअल सिम के साथ। देश स्मार्ट बन रहा है, आप डुअल स्मार्ट बनिए।
50% ऑफ हो जाएगा।
50% ऑफ ऑन एयर टिकट? अरे यात्रा.com क्यों करता है ऐसी कमिटमेंट? बाहर जाने का रास्ता देखा है या दिखाऊं?
दिखाने के लिए तो मैं भी बहुत कुछ दिखा सकता हूँ।
क्या? ये या फिर
ये क्यों बाल के साथ होश भी उड़ गए?
Excuse me, sir. Any problem, sir?
No problem.
फिर क्या बोलते हो?
Done.
तो हर यात्रा